Oh, welcome back. This is Rob Caddick, and we're looking for ways to solve your problems. And that's what this study is all about, giving you tips, talking about worldly events and how you can overcome them, how you can overcome the government controls that the government is implementing in your lives. So we're talking about 15-minute cities. See, we all see these metro links being created in all of our cities. Like if you're from North York, if you're from Mississauga to Brampton, they're creating like a streetcar lanes all through the city, spending billions of dollars on them, billion. And why are they doing that? Because they don't want you driving your cars. They want you taking streetcars. They don't want you using gas or even electricity. You know, this is about control. This is about the government saying how they want you to live. They won't live that way, but they're doing it to make you live that way so they can have control of your life. Then they talk about climate change. They talk about all these events that are all lies. If you go back in history, our earth has been way hotter than what they're saying it is right now. A lot hotter. See, the earth goes through formations. The sun goes through different pole shifts. So as the sun, we just went through one in 2024. We just did a pole shift on the sun. So when the sun shifts, it releases a lot of energy. So it's the angles of the sun. Maybe the next time the pole shift, the sun will pull away from the earth a little bit. So it'll bring a colder weather into the world, you know? Like I do snow shoveling for Canada Post. And I tell you, the last couple of years, this year was awesome. But we had a thing called an El Nino. An El Nino is where the Pacific Ocean it gets hot in a certain area and it comes towards through the jet stream, through the streams of the water and all that, how it flows, and it comes in to the different continents. Well, this year it came to North America. It was short lived. It didn't last as long as it was supposed to. That most El Ninos last. El Ninos usually last for 2 to 3 years. But as the weather guys that I listen to have said, that this El Nino was a weaker El Nino. It wasn't as strong. But we went through some terrible El Ninas. They're called El Ninas. And where I remember when I first started shoveling, I've been doing snow shoveling for 20 years. So I know the weather. I know how the weather changes. And where we usually got maybe some snow falls with 2 or 3 centimeters, and some with 5, then you might get one with 30 centimeters or more. But the last 3 years, not including 2024, say 2023, 2022, and 2021, almost every snowstorm we got about 5 snowstorms a year that are bad snowstorms. And they were all in the 30s, 30 centimeters. So that's a lot of snow. Usually we get a mixture of 2 to 5 centimeters. It gets some 5, maybe a 10. But no, they were all 30 centimeter snowstorms. So you bring that up to people that believe in climate change, and it says, "Oh, that's because of climate change." But I thought climate change said that Florida, Canada would be like Florida, and Florida is going to be like Canada. That's what climate change is supposed to do, and I don't see it happening. I see more cold weather in the United States in their snow belts, but not in like Florida and all that. They get some frost and all that, but not snow. But it's all government. You can't trust your government. You guys gonna understand something. These guys are politicians for life, and as they're politicians for life, they they are they get corrupted. The elite, the ones who control the monetary system in the world. See, our governments don't control our monetary system. That's why you have to pay taxes off your paychecks because the government doesn't print their own money. The elite has put a system in where they'll print the money and lend it to the countries. Then the countries have to pay them interest. They have to pay a tax to them, making them billions of dollars where those billions of dollars could have stayed in each country if the country controlled their own monetary system. But that's not what they want. That's where you have to know that your politics are corrupt because only that can happen in a corrupt system. So the idea that I came up with is that we should create in our government system that no politician can have more than one term. So we can't change the system with them, but we can change the way we vote. We have the power. We are in charge. We are the people. The people are in charge. They make you seem like you have a word, but they don't really listen to you. But if we stand up like in Canada or like around the world, they're afraid of us. That's why in Canada, Trudeau put martial law. He didn't do martial law when um, the violence and all that protesters were going on. Just like now, there's violent protesters now with Palestinians and the Jewish people. But he's not calling for martial law. Why? Because they don't care. They want the violence to happen. Haven't you seen how horrible life has changed since the pandemic? How evil these people have become and all the violence that are going on? And they're not creating laws. See, they create gun laws against innocent people, but the criminals still have guns. They're still getting their guns. How are they getting their guns? Because they don't stop them. They're funneling the guns to these organizations because they want corruption. They want you in fear. See, the only way you can be controlled is that if you fear and you worry. You can't worry about things and you can't be fearful of things. You got to be able to stand up and say, okay, this is going on, but I can create something. Like we can create communities and strengthen our communities. We don't need the government. We just need people that will stand together. And I'll show you what happens when people stand together and they don't. You can believe in God if you want or you don't want. That's up to you. Okay. I'm a pastor and I've witnessed so much stuff that I'd be stupid not to believe. I'm not calling you stupid. I would be stupid not to believe because of the what I've witnessed. Okay. So The Bible says, when the church does not stand together, their enemies will take over their countries. The enemy will take over. So what have we saw? Chaos will abound. So what have we seen? So we witness that the church of God does not stand together. You know, we have so many churches that call themselves different this, different that, so many different names. They believe in different systems. You know, there's only one Bible. The Bible teaches one simple way of life, but the churches want to do everything their own way. And you see the corruption that's happening. The enemies have come over and taken. We used to live in a Christian land. And now Christianity is a majority in their own country. And we're hated. Just like the Bible says, in the end times, we'll be hated. But that's okay. That's another day. We're just talking about right now about the power the government has over you and how you can get your power back by creating organizations that will go against the government in power. Now, I'm not telling you to go protest on that, but on the day of voting day, you can. You can go there and make sure your vote counts and vote out all these lifelong politicians. Look at the United States in the senators. 90% of those senators have been there for like 40 years, 35 years, where they can be corrupted. So, one way to keep corruption out of politics is not to allow any politician to have more than 1 year term. Not a 1 year term, but have one term. It's a 4 year term, right? So look at the things they're doing. Like I said, they're creating the 50-minute cities. They want government control. How many laws have they passed? Taking away free speech. You know, everybody has a right to free speech. If you don't like what I'm saying, you just get off my site, right? You have a choice to listen to me or not listen to me. It's like the politicians said, we're trying to protect the innocent. But they're trying to control what you can say and not say. If you look at any Trinity government that was took over the people, let's give an example of the country in Asia. I can't think of the country right now. Well, that's weird. Cambodia. There you go. In Cambodia. So the Americans left Vietnam. Then there was a war started in Cambodia. Communists went from Vietnam. Now they were pushing into Cambodia, and they were winning. So they won. They got control over Cambodia. There's a movie out there called The Killing Fields. It's an awesome movie. I watched that I think in the late 80s or early 90s, I watched it. And it was all about the story of this man. It was a professor, I believe. And what the communists did was they pulled all the smart people, all the anybody that was a leader in the police, the army, government, schools, universities, and they killed 90% of them. The other ones they put into labor camps and they worked them to death. And this one man got put into a labor camp, and the story is all about how he escaped the government rule. But see, most of the belief today in our system, even our school system, it's called the Communist Manifesto. The way they teach the schools, where when you go to school, they're teaching you stuff that you will never use in your life outside of school. 90% of it, 90% of the people would not use it. So the idea is this: is to fill your minds with so much information, useless information, that it doesn't teach you. Like in school, shouldn't they be teaching you about life situations? Shouldn't they be teaching you about finances? Why are so many people in debt today? Because they're not taught how to use finances. They're not taught about budgeting. They're not taught about getting involved with credit cards. And there's so many people get involved with these credit cards. As soon as they hit 19, 20 years old, these credit card companies just start piling these credit cards into your lives. So they want you in that debt trap. So we talked about the bike lane. Oh, bike lanes. You know what they're doing in Mississauga, my city, is that there's a lot of streets have been turned into bike lane streets. So where it used to be two lanes on a street, they put a bike lane. Now there's only one vehicle lane instead of having two on each side. Now there's only one on each side. Now I drive down that street. In a month, I might drive down that street 3 or 4 times. I never see bicycles on their roads. Never. But they're going to be used one day because they're going to stop cars from being allowed in these 15-minute cities that they're creating. See, what is a 15-minute city? A 15-minute city is where you can do everything you have to do in life: work and shop and live, all in this one area. And then they're going to put a system called uh, social score. Sorry. They're going to put a social score in. So they give you so many points. Now, if you follow the system, you continue to grow your score. But you start using these points to go to the grocery store. You start using these points. Say you need to visit your family that's outside the 15-minute city. Now you lose points. So everything you do outside this city, you will lose points. Then one day you won't have enough points that you won't be allowed to go. If you have to go to work, you won't be able to go to work. If you have to go to a doctor's appointment or meeting or some specialist appointment that's outside your city, you won't be able to go because you don't have enough points on your social score. And you can prove this system by going to China. China has this system already implemented. See, the New World Order. What they're doing, they've tested all the New Order things, the camera system, everything in China. So just look at articles from China, see what they're doing to know what the future is going to be like in your country. So if we don't stand up, if we don't fight the system will overtake your life. Like now, you see, if you're in Toronto, if you're in Canada and you're the major cities, you see all the bridges being redone. Why? The UN ordered all countries to strengthen the bridges. So they're not repairing the bridges or anything like that. They're strengthening the bridges, making them stronger. Why? Why do you need a stronger bridge? Because the bridge has to be able to sustain heavier traffic, heavier equipment. Now, what kind of equipment would be heavy enough that goes across the bridge that the bridge needs to be able to sustain that weight? tanks, army equipment, where the government's going to create a martial law and bring all these equipments in. So these are little things you look at to add up to prove me right or wrong. You've seen these things happening. Why? They said they don't have money, but all of a sudden they're spending billions of dollars, on these bridges. That the bridges were just made. A lot of them are brand new, but they need to be strengthened. So when the army, the trucks, military trucks, military equipment are driving over these bridges. Now you say, "Oh, Robert, you're crazy." Oh well, read the 2030, the 2021, the 2030, and the 2050. Everything you see today was written in the document of 2020, the 2020 document. What do you think they created a pandemic for? To test. See, even they were testing a thing called the universal income. See, they wanted to see how people react by sitting at home receiving this money. See, they got to test it. So they got to create a situation that warrants their test. So when they say everybody's got to stay home, it's a pandemic. Nobody can go. You're going to die. Everybody got scared. Grandmas kissing their babies through windows, their grandchildren through windows, not going inside the house. They made everybody look stupid and foolish. Yes, I'm going to say those words because it was stupid and foolish. Because if you had wisdom and knowledge, if you would just read a book that explains this, like 1984, where it explains movies. Watch the movies you watch. Don't watch them just to oh, that was good. That scene was. Listen to what they're telling you in TV shows. They tell you. Simpsons. How many times did they told you stuff that was going to happen in the real world in Simpsons? They use Simpsons to warn you, to tell you, to throw it in your face. This is what we're going to do. Donald Trump being president in 2016 and 2024 was predicted in the 2000 episode. The year 2000, they had an episode about Donald Trump becoming the president in 2016. Then that he would run in 2020, 2020, was it 2021? It was 2020. And the election for 2024. And he would win. We know Donald Trump won in 2021. They stole that election. Like all you liberals and Democrats now are gonna not watch this video now because I insulted them. But it's all set up. The system is set up. But we can change the system if we come together. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, atheist, you know, we have to work together. Black and white, they do a big job. They do a horrendous job. They do a perfect job on keeping white and blacks apart. They on the black society, all you see, like slavery's been gone for 100 years, over 100 years. But they keep pushing it on you guys. They keep telling you about the slavery. Oh, remember how bad the slavery was, how bad those white people were. But they don't tell you that black people had slaves. The blacks that were freed became senators and then in the government. So if If things were really that horrible, how did these black people get into government and all that? They owned slaves. See, we have to understand that there was a time in history where when you went back from, like, say, the 1800s all the ways back, there was always slavery. Everybody has slaves. But they use it because it pushes your buttons. It makes you angry. It makes you hate. The things what they did with Black Lives Matter. They were set up by a white Jewish guy in Austria, paid them to be violent. How many black businesses did Black Lives Matters burn down? But they said Black Lives Matter. I thought they were supposed to care about those businesses. They didn't care. They weren't there to help the black people. They were there to destroy, create a division. Mm. Why are they not there no more? Because they did their time. Now everybody knows the fakeness of it. So now they can't use it. They can't use that system. So they have to come up with other scenarios. How many movies that they come up there just to throw it in your face? Whites, Spanish, blacks, Asians, we all have to stand together. We all live in this country or whatever country you live in. You have to stand together. And that's what they fear. They fear people that can come together and to be one mind, one opportunity, one thought. That's why they hate religion. Because religion, the real religion, brings people together. The fake religion we have in the Western powers divide people. And that's why they're not succeeding. That's why the Bible tells us they will fail and they will be going to hell. The Bible talks about it. You know, if people would read the Bible, not as a spiritual book, but a life lesson book, you'd be amazed what you could learn, what you could really understand what the creator was trying to create. And he's just trying to create a family. That's all he was trying to do. He just wanted a family. But I got off the subject. But remember, look up 15-minute cities, government control, the Metro leaks, why they're spending all these billions of dollars. The bike lanes where they're trying to make it so difficult. There are even bumps. Every street you go in Mississauga almost has these bumps to make you slow down. But it's just to irritate you so that you'll give up your car when the time comes when they say, take this, it's easier. People will listen. And you vote. Let's um let's not give politicians the reign over our lives. They're supposed to work for me and you. They're not supposed to be working for themselves, and that's all they do. Politicians go into politics with an average income. Why do they come out of politics with billions of dollars, millions of dollars, $1 million opportunities when they leave? Because they get rewarded for doing all the things that the elite tell them to do. They like to reward their heroes, the heroes that destroy your life and makes your life harder. Look at Canada. We give billions of dollars away to other countries, billions, but we have a welfare state in Canada. We have thousands of businesses going out of business, but they're giving that money away. Your tax dollars are given away to countries that don't care about Canada at all, and they'll never pay it back. The only way they pay it back is they give money back to the politicians for their handouts. So it's a way for politicians to steal money from you and give it to somebody else. Like we saw it here in Ontario, where they said to this gas company that we're going to do this gas plant, but everybody was against it. But they had to pay the gas plant $1 billion for doing nothing. They wrote it in the contract. So the government signed it that if this didn't go well, they didn't have the debate to find out if we would have it or not. They put it in there because they know they would give the $1 billion to that company, then that company would funnel money back to the Liberal Party. So it's just a way to steal your tax dollars. So we have to wake up. We have to come together. Okay? Well, thank you for being here. If you want to leave a comment, you can leave a comment. And we thank you for your likes. And if you subscribe, thank you. And let's learn together. Give me a comment on what topics you would like to hear about. And I'll put a video on that topic. And we will start maybe we could start a movement. And it takes one. I'm here. I'm started. But I need people to come and help me, to join me. And we'll start a huge movement to change the way things are. Community by community. That's where you change things. You change it on the lower level. You can't fight the larger level because they'll attack you with the police and the army. But if we start building a foundation in our communities, strengthen our communities, then we just can continue to grow, and we grow so big that they can't stop it. Well, thanks for being here. I hope this was useful for you and opened your eyes, opened your heart. Okay. Till our next video, I hope you have an awesome day. I hope you're blessed, that the laws of blessings will come into your life. Thank you.